Hello and how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Serena and this is another episode of What's Up Stitches, a little segment on this channel where we share what we are working with knitting wise. I am a new knitter. I just taught myself how to knit about 6 months ago, and so I am loving just like sharing the knitting world with all y'all and seeing what you guys are making, as well as learning things from you and interpreting those into my knitting. Today is okay, so I have been sick for a while. I got sick around the end of October. It is like the middle. It's a week before Thanksgiving, and I am just now feeling okay to sit down and film the What's Up Stitches segment. So I have a lot of new projects to show you that I started while I was sick. I have one finished object, one object that I'm frogging and starting anew, and then two casted on projects that one is actually almost finished and another one is a Christmas project that I have started and I'm probably about midway through. So I'm excited to share something new with you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's just start with what I'm wearing. I have a finished object. This is my second ever knitted sweater that I have made, and I really like it. It's the Toadstool sweater by Rainbow Folk. I bought this off of Etsy, but they're also on Ravelry if you're on there. And it is made from bulky weight yarn, so it's a pretty fast knit. I feel like this was much easier than my pumpkin patch sweater because obviously this is bulky and so it knits up faster, but also the color work in this is, in my opinion, pretty simple for a newbie. So if you've never ever made a colorwork sweater, I think this is a really good sweater to start with because bulky weight yarns, obviously it knits up much faster. The yarn that I chose to do this in is Valley Yarns Brookshire Bulky by Webb's American Yarn Store. It is 85% wool and 15% alpaca. So this is a single ply yarn, so it's very fuzzy. The alpaca makes it even more fuzzier, and it is very just squishy and warm. I like it a lot, and honestly it is probably 30 to 40 degrees outside right now and I am toasty. I'm not wearing anything underneath the sweater and I'm just really toasty. It is a little more itchy than I would really like to have my sweaters be, but I also don't have anything underneath this, so this is definitely a layering sweater. If you're sensitive to wool, I'm assuming probably it's the wool in here that's making it itchy, and the single plyness, it just has a whole bunch of little fibers like sticking out. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to wear over time with it being such a fuzzy sweater and it being single ply. I'm going to do my darndest to kind of just keep it together. So definitely recommend this Toadstool sweater pattern. I call this my mushroom sweater because it's mushrooms to me, not toadstools, but you know, everybody has their own different language for these little cute things. But definitely recommend the Toadstool sweater from Rainbow Folk. Alright, so let's go ahead and move this over. The colors of this yarn, Valley Yarns don't really have like fancy color names. It's black, it's red, I believe like one of them is heathered almond or something, and then olive green are the colors if you're interested. I would want to maybe try to do this if I can find a bulky weight yarn that is, I don't know, is there a worsted? Like a worsted spun? Obviously it's not worsted weight, but like something that is more than just single ply. I feel like if it's like double, like 2 ply or maybe 4 ply, I don't know. I'm not that experienced with bulky weight yarns, especially sweater wise, so I'm learning. Okay, so next up is a project that you guys have seen before. I think I spoke about it twice down here on this channel, and that is my 1897 Butterick cycling cycling sweater. My pattern's all jacked up. This is a Ravelry pattern by Kelsey Patton and Pearls of History Designs. They've interpreted the original 1897 Butterick cycling sweater and turned it into a modern knitting pattern. And I've liked it so far. The pattern is pretty self-explanatory, and I think I have mentioned this before. A lot of it is ribbed. And I think if it wasn't the last What's Up Stitches, it was 2 What's Up Stitches ago that I said that I'm not really sure about the knitting. It just kind of seems like really holy. Well, I double checked the gauge even though I did a gauge swatch before I started, I double checked the gauge in the pattern and I'm off. I don't know if I forgot to switch to the smaller needle. I don't know. So I'm frogging this guy, and I will probably not get to it before Christmas because I have a couple of Christmas things that I want to do. So maybe in the new year, you know, starting fresh with this guy. This is probably 3 weeks of work, so it kind of stinks that I am frogging it, but it just really, and I know if I keep on going with a bigger gauge, it's really going to bother me. I do like the yarn that I'm using for it. The yarn that I'm using is Wool of the Andes Sport Weight, the color Forest Heather by Knit Picks. I really like this. This doesn't feel itchy to me at all, but I mean, this didn't feel itchy to me either, so we'll see how it feels on the skin. Maybe in 2023 I'll have my 1897 cycling sweater of my dreams, but it's just not happening this year. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on. So my next project I am really excited about because I am almost finished, you guys, and this is another sweater. I've been doing a lot of sweaters lately, and this has been the most complicated sweater, and you know, I've only knitted 2 other sweaters, so saying this is the most complicated sweater is not saying much, but this sweater is the Nutcracker sweater by Fable Knitwear. I love all of her patterns. If you haven't browsed Fable Knitwear and you're into like historical bounding, history bounding, you need to go and look at all of her patterns because I want to make every single one of them. I have a lot of them saved on my favorites list on Ravelry, but the Nutcracker jumper, it has a lot going on. It has bobbles, it has a seed stitch, and it has raglan. So I have never done any of those things. The 2 other sweaters that I have done, top-down yoke sweaters, which were really easy. So this is the first time I've ever done like raglan decreases. And there's a lot going on in this pattern. There's a lot to keep track of, but if you were able to take really good notes, and I like beat up my patterns, I write directly onto the patterns. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but that's what I do. So if you're able to keep track of like the 4 things going on, it makes to be a really cute sweater. I made the sweaters because we have been going to see the St. Louis Ballet's Nutcracker for the last like 11 years. So it's kind of a tradition for us, and my child actually has been dancing in a Nutcracker production for the last 4 years. So Nutcracker just holds a special place in my heart. This year I actually designed 2 Nutcracker enamel pins for my enamel pin shop, Biblio Chic. They have not arrived yet, so hopefully they will arrive soon. Not only did I design a Nutcracker pin, but I also designed a sugar plum pin, and I'm really excited that I'm trying to themed my outfit for this year, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do, but at least I'll have a sweater that is themed around the Sugar Plum Fairy. Although this sweater is called the Nutcracker Jumper, and Fable Knitwear actually does have a Sugar Plum sweater. I feel like the baubles on it just kind of reminded me of Sugar Plum, so I decided to go with the Nutcracker Jumper pattern for my Sugar Plum Fairy inspired outfit. Let's talk about, what is there to talk about? What else? Like I said, it's a bottom up, so I was not used to that. There is no going back to trying to make the sleeves longer or the bottom longer, so hopefully I got like the length. It is cropped. Her Nutcracker jumper is cropped, so I do plan on wearing this sweater with a high-waisted skirt, so although I did not make the length of it as cropped as Fable Knitwear has it, I did add, I think, 1 extra inch. I may regret that decision, but I didn't want too much bulk in the waist, and I haven't even made my skirt yet, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I am almost finished. I like the fact that it has the seed stitch bobbles on the arms as well as the stomach portion, and it is a double knitted rib collar, which I think I only have 1 more row to go till I get to that double knit ribbed collar. The yarn that I'm using, it's no surprise that I'm using another Knit Picks yarn because it is very affordable, and I just really love this color. To me, it kind of felt very much Sugar Plum Fairy. It is Knit Picks Gloss DK Weight. in the color Velveteen, and it is a merino wool and silk blend. I like the fabric that it has created, and I can't wait to wash and block it because it is merino wool and silk. It's very soft and it does kind of have that sheen. So the next time I see you in What's Up Stitches, my Sugar Plum Fairy / Nutcracker Jumper by Fable Knitwear will be complete, and I'm excited to take that off the needles because I need to knit a couple of things before I go to New York City. So in about 2 weeks, a week after Thanksgiving, actually my family and I are going to travel to New York City because my child is dancing with the Rockettes in the Rockefeller Center, and I'm so excited. But I forgot that I don't have a hat and I don't have mittens. And look, I learned a new skill this year that I can actually knit mittens and a hat. So I haven't exactly picked out a pattern, but I want help, you guys. I have a lot of this bulky weight yarn still. So if you have any good hat and mitten patterns for bulky weight, or I think I have a couple maybe worsted weighted wool that I could use as a substitute, but hook a sister up. Let me know your favorite hat and mitten patterns down below. Let me know, please, please, please. Okay, so last but not least is another sweater that I am working on. It is a Christmas sweater. It's actually titled Christmas Sweater. It is another Ravelry pattern by, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name, I will put it right here, Unar Eva Arnestor. I know, I'm sorry, I messed that up, but again, right here, it's a pretty cool pattern. It is another color worked sweater. This one is actually knit from the bottom up, but it does have this pretty yoke with pretty Christmas trees. So let me get that project bag out and I will show you. Before I get it all out, I'm going to tell you about the yarn. Again, it's a knit pick yarn. Knit picks, I think around like the beginning of October, I got an email because I'm on their email list, and they said that all of their Wool of the Andes worsted weight yarn was $1.99 a skein. I'm like, whoa, $1.99 a skein? Yeah, I need to pick out some yarn for my Christmas sweater. So I got this yarn. Like I said, Knit Picks is really affordable, but when they have those sales, it's so hard not to buy, and that's what I did. So the main color of the sweater is in Hollyberry, and the trees are this lovely like evergreen kind of color. This color is Everglade Heather, and the white cuffs in the band is this natural color of Cloud. And I have not finished. I'm probably about 50% done. I started it, this is, like I said, a bottom up, so this is kind of hard to gauge like how the length of it, especially when you haven't washed the wool yet. So it has this lovely like detail on the cuffs and on the bottom that is color work, but it's like simple color work, and I just like how retro this was. So I have made the bottom up to the armpits, and I just started today one of the sleeves. So the sleeves again has that cream cuff, and then it goes into like simple color work, and then you knit it all and taper it in the red, and then you join the sleeves to the rest of the body, and then you do the yoke. I'm liking it so far. I do think that this is going to be another sweater that it will have to be like a t-shirt underneath situation, because it is, I mean, it's worsted weight and it's Wool of the Andes, so it's kind of more rustic than, of course, like a merino, but I'm liking it so far. I like the stitch definition of the color work. It doesn't get lost, kind of like this kind of gets lost because it's so fuzzy, but with Wool of the Andes worsted weight, it doesn't get lost. But so I'm liking that so far. The pattern is pretty straightforward. I got this pattern from Ravelry. It's called the Christmas Sweater. It did call for 2x2 ribbing, which I didn't really like in the swatch, so I just went to the 1x1 ribbing. I don't know, for some reason 2x2 ribbing just kind of reminds me of the 90s, which is not bad, but I was like a teenager in the 90s, and the 90s was not that great of experience because I went through middle school in the 90s, so I'm not as nostalgic as Gen Z is right now about the 90s. Alright, so I think that's it. I had a lot of new things to share. I am hoping that I will finish some of them and then I will start a new project before I see you again. Let me know in the comments below, what are you working on? Okay, well, I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend and enjoy your Thanksgiving if you are an American that does Thanksgiving. All right, my friends, I will see you guys later. Bye.